Some of the heaviest wounds are carried in silence. They don't bleed or break bones, but they weigh on the soul with an unbearable gravity. For countless service members, returning home isn't an end to the war, but the beginning of a new, intensely private one. It's a conflict waged not against an enemy, but within the quiet chambers of the heart and mind, far from the camaraderie of the front lines. The question echoes in the dead of night: why did I make it home when others did not? This is the haunting refrain of survivor's guilt. It's born in the crucible of combat, where bonds are forged stronger than steel, and life and death are decided in a fraction of a second. One moment, you're sharing a plan for the future. The next, a deafening silence where a friend's voice used to be, and you are the one left standing. This isn't just sadness, it's a profound moral injury, the feeling that your survival was a mistake, that you are living on borrowed time belonging to a fallen comrade. It is an invisible injury, but one that shapes every part of life after war. It can make joy feel like a betrayal, and peace feel like a foreign land you're not authorized to enter. It convinces you that you are unworthy of the very life you fought so hard to protect. For many, this leads to isolation. It's easier to pull away from loved ones than to explain a pain they can't understand. The what-ifs and if-onlys play on a loop, anchoring them to a past they can never change. For people of faith, this burden can become a crisis of the spirit. Where was God in that chaos? Is my survival part of His plan, or a cruel twist of fate? These questions can shake the very foundations of belief. But it is precisely within this spiritual wrestling that a path to healing can be found. It is a journey that requires immense courage. Not the courage of the battlefield, but the quiet courage to face the wounds within. In this series, we will walk that path together, exploring what Scripture says about grief, purpose, and redemption. We will discover that survival is not a curse, but a sacred trust. Your story is not over. The healing can begin. Survivor's guilt. It's a wound that doesn't bleed, a weight that can't be seen. It can strike at any moment, ambushing the soul in the quietest of times. A familiar song on the radio, the smell of freshly cut grass, the innocent sound of a child's laughter, any of these can become a trigger, unlocking a floodgate of memory and pain. It's more than just sadness for those who were lost. It's a deeply ingrained, often irrational feeling of responsibility, a persistent question that echoes in the heart. Why them and not me? This feeling is a heavy burden, one that many of our bravest carry in silence long after the sounds of battle have faded. It's a paradox of survival, where the gift of life can feel like an unbearable punishment.
I close my eyes and it's like no time has passed. I see their faces, not as they were in the end, but as they were in life. I see Jackson, who could find a joke in any situation, his grin a beacon in the dust. I see Maria, meticulously planning her wedding from a world away, her letters filled with hope for a future she would never get to live. I see them all, my brothers, my sisters. I made it back. I stepped on the plane. I flew home. I breathed the air of a life they were denied, but they didn't. And that fact, it haunts me. The what-ifs are relentless. What if I had taken that patrol? If only I had been a few seconds faster, a little more alert. These questions loop in my mind, a constant, tormenting soundtrack. And then the deepest, darkest question of all surfaces in the dead of night. Sometimes I wonder if I even deserve to be here. How can I justify enjoying a simple sunset when they can't? How do I find joy in my daughter's graduation when their children will only know them from photographs? It feels like a betrayal to simply be alive.
This silent, crushing weight of guilt is a powerful force. It doesn't just cause sadness, it actively drives veterans into the shadows. It builds walls, brick by invisible brick, creating a profound isolation. It's a retreat away from family, who try to understand but can't possibly grasp the depth of the wound. Their well-meaning words of comfort can feel hollow, even painful, widening the chasm. It's an exile away from joy, because happiness feels unearned, a stolen pleasure. And most dangerously, it's a slow drift away from hope. The guilt whispers lies, telling the veteran they are unworthy of peace, undeserving of a future. This isolation often extends to the spiritual realm. A crisis of faith can take root. Questions bombard the soul. Where was God in the chaos? Why did He spare me and not them? Is this guilt my penance? The silence from heaven can be deafening, making a veteran feel abandoned not only by their comrades but by their Creator. The Bible itself acknowledges this kind of profound anguish. In Psalm 88, the psalmist cries out, "You have put me in the lowest pit, in the darkest depths. Darkness is my closest friend." For many with survivor's guilt, this verse is not just ancient poetry, it is their lived reality.
And then, people in the civilian world with the best of intentions use a word that can feel like a hot iron on the soul. Hero. They call me a hero. They thank me for my service. But the word rings hollow in my ears. It feels like a lie. A hero saves people. A hero protects their team. I was there. I fought alongside them, but I couldn't save them. So what does that make me? When I look in the mirror, I don't see a hero. I see the one who came back, the one who has to carry their stories. The real heroes, the ones who made the ultimate sacrifice. They never came home. Their names are etched on memorials, their flags folded with precision. They are the heroes. I'm just the one who survived.
But this narrative of guilt and unworthiness, as powerful as it feels, does not have to be the final story. The weight of survivor's guilt is real, but it is not the truth of who you are. Healing is not about forgetting those you lost. It is about learning to carry their memory with honor, not with guilt. The path forward is paved with courage, and it often involves 3 vital elements: faith, professional support, and community. Faith offers a powerful counter-narrative to the lies of guilt. It reminds us of grace. The guilt says you are condemned, but Romans 8:1 declares, "Therefore there is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus." This isn't about being condemned for an action, but freeing yourself from the self-imposed condemnation of survival. Faith also reframes sacrifice. John 15:13 says, "Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends." Your friends demonstrated that love. Honoring their sacrifice doesn't mean living a half-life of sorrow. It means embracing the life they no longer have, living it with purpose and gratitude. It means living them. Seeking professional counseling is not a sign of weakness. It is an act of courage. It's like calling for a medic when you have a wound that won't heal on its own. Therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy can provide practical tools to identify, challenge, and reframe the distorted thoughts that fuel the guilt. A trained counselor can help you navigate the complex terrain of trauma and grief in a safe, confidential space. And finally, community. The isolation must be broken. This is where connecting with fellow veterans becomes so critical. In a circle of peers, you don't need to explain the weight. They already know. They carry it too. Sharing stories, speaking the names of the fallen, and simply sitting in shared silence can be profoundly healing. It transforms the burden from a solitary weight into a shared remembrance. The question, "Why did I survive?" may never have a complete answer, but we can create an answer. We can live in a way that brings honor to the fallen. By serving our families, by mentoring others, by volunteering in our communities, we infuse our survival with purpose. We shift from asking "why me" to declaring "for them." Healing is a journey, not a destination. It is the slow, brave process of integrating the past into a future filled with hope, a future where the memory of your comrades fuels a life of meaning, a life redeemed. Your story is not over. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. Even survivor's guilt can be lifted in God's presence. Stand with us and help us support our veterans. We've journeyed together through the shadows of the battlefield, confronting the heavy burden of survivor's guilt that so many warriors carry in silence. We've seen how the echoes of the past can threaten to define the present. But the core of our message today is one of unwavering hope. There is a path to healing, a light that pierces the most profound darkness, and it is found in faith. The questions that haunt the quiet hours, the why me and what if, are not new. They echo through the ages, from the laments of ancient warriors to the prayers whispered in barracks today. The answers, too, are timeless, preserved for us from the ancient scrolls to the modern pages, where ancient truths meet modern discovery. Consider the profound promise found in the book of Isaiah, chapter 41, verse 10. "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Let's break this down. Do not fear, for I am with you. This isn't a command to simply ignore your feelings of anxiety or dread. It's a declaration of presence. It's God saying, in the midst of your fear, in the flashbacks, in the lonely nights, I am right there with you. You are not alone. Then he says, I will strengthen you and help you. This is the promise of divine reinforcement. When your own strength fails, when the weight is too much to bear, his strength is made perfect in your weakness. It's the strength to face another day, the strength to open up, the strength to forgive yourself. And that final phrase, "I will uphold you with my righteous right hand," is the ultimate image of redemption. Imagine that powerful, holy hand reaching down and lifting the crushing weight of guilt from your shoulders. It's a divine exchange. You give him the guilt, the replays, the pain, and he gives you his righteousness, his peace, his unblemished standing before the Father. This isn't about forgetting what happened. It's about refusing to let it have the final say over your identity and your future. But this healing isn't meant to happen in isolation. Faith is a team sport. We urge you to take a courageous next step. Find a community where you can be real. That might be a church that feels like home, a small group of believers who can walk with you, or a faith-based veteran support program. Being with fellow believers who understand the language of both faith and service can be a powerful catalyst for healing. In these circles, you'll find you are not the only one. You'll find brothers and sisters who can pray with you, listen without judgment, and remind you of the truth when you can't see it for yourself. And on your own, begin to build small, consistent habits of grace. Start a conversation with God through prayer. It doesn't have to be formal, just talk to him like you're talking to a trusted commander who has the ultimate strategic overview of your life. Open the Psalms. In them, you'll find King David, a warrior himself, pouring out every raw emotion, anger, fear, sorrow, and praise. Start a journal. These aren't chores, they are tools for excavation, helping you unearth the roots of your pain and bring them into the light of God's grace. If you are a veteran watching this, hear this clearly. Your life has immense purpose. Your experiences, even the most painful ones, can be redeemed and used by God to bring hope to others. You survived for a reason. This series and our ongoing mission to support our nation's heroes is brought to you by El Shaddai Christian Ministries. We are here because we believe in the power of God to restore every broken heart and set every captive free. Thank you for watching. If this message spoke to your heart or opened your eyes to the struggle a loved one might be facing, please take a moment to like this video. Your like helps the algorithm show this to another warrior who might be fighting their battle in silence. Share it with someone you know. You never know whose life it might change. And subscribe to our channel for more truth-filled, spirit-led content designed to equip and encourage you on your walk with Christ. Until next time, may you walk in the freedom that Christ has won for you. And may the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, guard your hearts and your minds. You are seen, you are valued, and you are loved.